Welcome to The Know. I'm Ashley Jenkins, and today NASA has outlined a plan to send humans to an asteroid in the next 10 years
Damon here with IGN News. In the ongoing effort to explore this solar system's red planet, NASA will launch its first flight test of Orion. Spacecraft.
Orion is getting ready to launch.
Yep, mankind achieved another incredible planetary science milestone this week, but judging by the usual feminist suspects, you'd figure the world was filled with nothing but rape porn, military rape, and university gang rape scandals, followed by victim blaming once the account of the incident turned out to be bogus. I mean, Jesus, how many times does your obnoxious clickbait need to mention rape and sexual assault? And is there nothing else to obsess about, really?
How are you going to wash the taste of this week out of your mouth? Unfortunately, everything about this week sucked and nothing was good. It was creativity suckingly bad. In the news, it was a week of victory for liars and jerks and steamy piles of human garbage. In our office, it was a week of stench. A pipe in the basement of Gawker Media headquarters began leaking something that smelled that oscillated between hot vomit poop and Satan's gaping asshole. By yesterday, staff tried to mask it with scented candles, but the best the candles could do was bring the smell up from hot vomit poop to shit potpourri. The smell matched our mood, matched the news. Everything was crappy.
Now I know what you're thinking. Why would I expect feminist sites to publish space news in the first place? And you're absolutely right. Well, in this instance anyway. After all, no one on the Orion staff has talked to the media in a silly shirt, so why would they bother to cover or even mention this mission? And of course, there's no way so far to double down on your abject stupidity and call criticism death threats with the Orion test launch. Oh, and if someone can find any mention at all of the successful Orion launch and splashdown on the Twitter account of Rose Eveleth, one of the first feminist tech writers to completely ignore the triumphs of the Rosetta mission and instead busy her self-righteous little self condemning Dr. Matt Taylor for his shirt, let me know because I see nothing but the usual. Seriously though, how far does your head have to be shoved up your ass to pretend there has been nothing but bad news this week when even your own sister media outlets are raving about Orion? You know, I hate to sound sexist, but if Rosetta is sexy, then Orion is downright irresistible, and for a whole lot more than just the good looks.
Rope ignition.
10,
The igniters have been lit.
9, 8, 7, 6,
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And liftoff at dawn. The dawn of Orion and a new era of American space exploration.
Even though there weren't humans in the launch this morning, this was a big, it's ongoing actually as we speak. This is a big event for NASA and for the future of manned spaceflight, because what we're doing here with this first Orion launch is testing the first new NASA human spaceflight vehicle since the space shuttle. So this is the first attempt really since the 1980s that NASA has had in creating and launching a new kind of manned spaceflight vehicle. And of course, we're going to test it with nobody in it to begin with, but the goal is to, as quickly as possible, move up to getting people in this and getting them off in the solar system. So what's happening on this first launch is they strapped the Orion capsule on top of a Delta IV heavy rocket. And this is the largest rocket currently flying in the world today. And they're going to use that to launch the Orion capsule into Earth orbit. And this capsule went much higher up than we typically send these sorts of things. So the space station orbits at a few hundred kilometers above the Earth's surface. This went up to 5,800 kilometers before slowly coming back down. And that's farther than any human certified spacecraft has gone since Apollo 17 left to go to the moon in 1972.
That's just mind-bending.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so the reason they go out that far is they want to bring it back as fast as possible so that it hits the atmosphere as hard as possible, and they can really do a good stress test of the heat shield, the parachutes, and all of the other landing processes. Because when you come back from the moon, or if we were to come back from an asteroid or from Mars, you're going to be coming in much, much faster than, say, the space shuttle landing from the space station does. And so you need a much more robust heat protection system, and that's what they want to test with this first mission. It's not just human spaceflight that has the opportunity to benefit here. The biggest limiting factor on what we can do when we go to Jupiter or Saturn, or if we wanted to go to Uranus or Neptune, is the amount of weight we can carry, the amount of fuel we can bring along. And that's very limited right now by the fact that all interplanetary missions are pretty much launched on Atlas V rockets, which are smaller yet even than the Delta IV Heavy, and much smaller than the SLS and future heavy launch vehicles. And so if we can get those price competitive, and SLS will probably never be price competitive, but if some of these sort of more intermediate sized ones can be more price competitive, we can launch bigger, more comprehensive missions than we've been able to do today.
compare this attitude.
It was awesome. I wish the clouds wouldn't have been so thick, but overall it was awesome. Good day for the United States and the space program.
With this one.
How are you going to wash the taste of this week out of your mouth? In the news, it was a week of victory for liars and jerks and steamy piles of human garbage. In our office, it was a week of stench. A pipe in the basement of Gawker Media headquarters began leaking something that smelled that oscillated between hot vomit poop and Satan's gaping asshole.
Well, you know what they say, what goes around comes around, but if you can't get a plumber in, try to come up for air every now and then from your backed up Gawker cesspool.